everyone, my name is Anna and I welcome you to my home. In our today's program we're going to talk about fun and our historical heritage and how to combine both. If you think it's impossible, you definitely should meet my today's guest, Lanah Haddad, an archaeologist and the creator of an amazing board game called Orbilum. A rare professional and rare talent, Lanah, welcome to my home.
Thank you very much, Anna. I'm very honored to be here.
And I'm really glad that with this busy schedule, you made some time to join our today's program.
Definitely. Thank you for the invitation. I really appreciate it.
And I'm looking forward to our today's conversation. I know that you've got a lot to tell our audience and share a lot of inspiration and advice.
Thank you.
So, first thing first, where are you from?
This question is a question that comes every time. I mean, also yesterday, today, and this morning. My whole life I used to this question, and there's actually not really a specific answer because I come from a very diverse family. So I was born in Erbil, but from my siblings, I'm the only one born in Erbil. So if I tell I'm from Erbil, everybody say, yeah, but your language is not like the people in Erbil. Then I start to say, yes, my mother is from Kirkuk, and my father is from Baghdad, but he is originally from Khanaqin. And all my siblings, they were all born in Baghdad, and I'm the youngest of 5. And I grew up in Germany, so again, then the influence of my accent, etc., changed again, so that I have, when I speak Kurdish, for example, nobody can really tell from which city I am, because it's neither the dialect of Erbil or Kirkuk or Slemani. It's kind of something in between and more like individual. Everybody understands me, but it's a complete different
But they're still curious.
Yes,
Still curious. And also I know that your mom has some roots from Punjab, and this is so amazing. So Middle East and a little bit of that region.
South Asia.
South Asia, yeah.
Yeah, the thing about this is like before 100 years ago, when the British Empire was taking the mandate of Iraq, and when they were fighting the Ottoman Empire, all their soldiers mostly came from South Asia. So they were like Hindus, Muslim Indians, etc. And all these soldiers, they stayed here. And many of them, they were employed into the oil companies, like in the region of Kirkuk, or at the railway station. And my grandfather was one who worked in the oil companies in K1 or K2 it was. And he married a Kurdish girl from a village, and that's how I look like an Indian person instead of a Kurdish person.
Sometimes, but you look really pretty.
Thank you very much.
You have very unique appearance, to be honest.
Thank you.
So, and have you ever traveled to Punjab?
I have traveled to India because when I looked at where my grandfather is, it's nowadays in Pakistan, but at the border of India and Pakistan. I traveled to India for 1 month, and it was funny because nobody thought that I'm a foreigner. Everybody was asking me, are you from Kashmir or are you from Punjab? And I was like, yeah, I'm from Punjab, so just let it go to be in this flow. But I want to go one day to Pakistan and to Punjab of Pakistan to see if I can find any relatives, because my mother used to have contacts with them.
That is interesting and pretty much exciting.
Yes.
All right, so, and the things you do here in Erbil are amazing. You are an archaeologist, and this is a pretty rare profession, to be honest. You're the first archaeologist I met live, you know, and this is amazing. I'm really honored. So can you tell us about this profession? How did you decide to become an archaeologist? Because a lot of people choose the profession, you know, pretty much similar. They either work somewhere in the office or maybe they work for schools, etc. But
yeah, so as I told you, like I used to live in Germany. Like when I was 6 years old, we migrated to Germany, and I was quite like connected to our homeland. So I tried really to keep my memories safe, and always asking my mom before bedtime, yeah, can you tell me again the story of our uncle, the story of my aunt and all this. So I tried to keep my memories vivid. And growing up in Germany, I always felt like I want to have a profession that I connect both countries, like Germany and Iraq. And then I was thinking all the time, what can I do, what I can do? And of course, as a teenager, there are like many thoughts what you want to do. I didn't want to do these classic things like engineering and doctors, etc. Although my mom wished that I would be a doctor, but my brother did it, so this burden gone from me. So I was always interested into history and heritage, and I was like, yeah, history is nice, but history is kind of boring to do as a profession because you are doing mostly research and it's all like in the library. So then I was thinking, okay, archaeology would combine both, like it would be an active job and at the same time reading a lot and doing research. And I found that there is the possibility in Germany to study Near Eastern archaeology. And then I applied for 3 universities, and then I chose the one which is closest to my family, which was in Frankfurt. And from my first year, I started actively to go to fieldworks and work in excavations. And I loved this time. It is amazing because it makes you travel a lot. It makes you work in a complete different environment because we were like 3 months in a village somewhere in the middle of nowhere, no internet, and have a dense work schedule.
So basically it was all happening in Germany, right?
The work was in the Middle East. Like my first excavation was in northeastern Syria, so between Qamishli and I was 1.5 months in the village close to Qamishli, and then in Serkani, or Serkani.
I wanted to ask you about the most impressive finding you had, which you still remember until today.
It's quite difficult to say because during every excavation that I was, there was always something little that's exciting. The thing you need to know, like when you are excavating, you never know what will come up because you will dig down and it's really unpredictable what you will find. So on my last excavation, like on the last week, I saw like that the surface of the ground has a different color. It was like orange reddish. And it was only 3 days before we need to close the excavation. And I was feeling like, okay, there is something, I need to excavate more further. And my professor said, no, leave it for next year, leave it for next year. And I was telling him, we never know what will happen next year, so let me take the chance, it's only a small area, let me excavate it. And he was still discussing with me, but I could convince him that I could do it in 3 days, independent what comes out. And then when we started to excavate, I found out that it is a roof of a room, of a house. And it turned out that this house burned down and then the roof collapsed. And I could really see big chunks of the wooden beams that holds the roof. And underneath the roof was the inventory of this room. So normally when you excavate a house in these ruins, you find empty houses because if you move out of your house, you will take everything with you. You don't leave it like this and just go and move somewhere else. Definitely. So this is most cases that we have. But when a house burns, everything in this room stays intact. So what we found there was a workshop where they made cloth. So there was a wooling installation where we found the weights to put down the strings, etc. And what also was really, really nice, we found ceilings, because this means these people were trading. Yeah. So whenever they finished a product, they sealed it and sent it. Whenever they got resources like the wool, etc., they got it in a sealed package, so that they opened the ceiling and left the ceiling in this shelf that was there. So this was interesting because in this small area I could know from which period it was, what they did actually, and having these ceilings shows like the network of this area with other regions. So this was for me one of my most exciting findings that I had.
And it is exciting, you know, and you really followed your intuition in that way. So you did not give up, and that is amazing. So it's a really good example for everyone who's watching to listen to your gut feeling, right? Yes. In anything you do, right? Anything you do. All right, great. So let's talk about your project.
Yes.
The board game which you have created. Basically, you've got 2 right now.
Exactly.
So I think it's time to introduce them to our audience.
So I created now 2 board games. This is very new. This is a card game, and this one is the board game.
I love the packaging. You know, this bag is amazing. So I have one like that, and I'm in love with it. It's like a treasure, which you can buy or get it here right now. You don't need to excavate. You just go and get it from Lanah, right?
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, let's talk about it then.
So
the
yeah,
first
Yani,
one.
I grew up in Germany, as I said, and in Germany it's very common to play board games. Like everybody has at home many board games in their shelf, and like once in a month or something, people play board games. And it's not only for children, of course, also like for adults, etc. And most of the board games, they are based either on fantasy or on historical figures. So what I found that most historical themes are about Egypt or about ancient Greek or ancient Roman Empire or medieval time. And I quite missed Mesopotamia. Like in general, the entertainment industry in the dominating of Western countries like Hollywood, etc., they are not focusing on Mesopotamia. You rarely find something from Mesopotamia. Like I noticed, like sometimes there is a small image or something in the background, but it's never the main actor in.
And if they moved to Middle East, it's mainly Egypt, right?
Yes. So. Yeah, so that's why I was feeling like kind of sad, and I found actually some board games that have the theme of Mesopotamia, and I brought them, and I was disappointed because they just used the names. There was no real contact to the heritage or to the history. So then me and my friend, we were sitting and were like, okay, if there is no board game with Mesopotamian theme, we can do it. And for me, when I created this board game, I had also the idea, okay, the theme would be Mesopotamia and it should be based on historical and archaeological information. But with the game, I created a small booklet where you have the introduction, how to play the game, the instruction, and also the historical background in a very short and simple way, so that everybody who plays the game and has more interest into this time period, he can read some introductional information so that his interest get further. So it's also like educational and not only entertainment.
And that's just great. So let's
Open
take
it.
a look and then see what exactly this beautiful box contains.
So the Urbillum, the name, is the brand name. Urbillum for me, not for me, like Urbillum is one of the oldest name of Erbil because in these 3,000, 5,000 years, the name changes. Yeah. We discover this every day. Since we have a lot of generations where their parents, the city called this name, and then it changed to another name. So Urbillum is one of the oldest names that we have for Erbil, and through time it changed till it became Erbil and then to Hawler. And the board game is called the Assyrian Empire. So the Assyrian Empire is the theme of this board game. Because the idea of my game is like to have a series. So every time when I create another game, another period of Mesopotamia will be the focus.
So here we go. We've got the cards here. Assyrian Empire. Such an exciting game.
Yeah, the Assyrian Empire is one of the most prominent periods because we have most records for ancient Mesopotamia coming from the Assyrian Empire. Because also there was like a king called Ashurbanipal, who had a library. So he sent his scribes all around Mesopotamia to collect older scripts to fill his library. So he let also many texts being translated from Sumerian to Assyrian, or from Old Akkadian to modern, to at that time Assyrian language. So most information that we have also about previous periods, like for 3,000 years ago, comes from the Assyrian Empire because the library contains so much information. Until now, not all the texts that were excavated from this library are translated. So there is a lot to continue to discover. But yeah, let's go to the board game.
So here is the booklet, right? So
yes.
And let's talk about languages. You've got several languages in it, right? So
exactly, because this is a very important topic for me. Because as I said, like Mesopotamia has a very, very rich culture in the ancient time until today. We have a very, very diverse community. So for me, it was important not only to make this board game where you have access in a fun way to history and heritage, but also access in your mother tongue. So when I made the booklet, I let it translate in 3 other languages. I wrote it in English, and then I let it translate in Kurdish, in Arabic, and in Syriani. And the feedback of this was really amazing, because especially our Assyrian community here, they really appreciated that somebody who is not Assyrian caring about their language and including it into a product. Because normally when people here have projects, they focus on their own main language, so it's only Kurdish or only Arabic. So I try to touch this diversity that we have and include all these languages that we have in our diverse community. I didn't have time to use Turkmenian, but I hope in the future I will include this too. So this is the beauty that...
It is, and it's definitely beautiful. And it is interesting, right? So for other people who are not from here, right, it's a good gift, and it's a really great way to learn about this region.
Yes.
For me, I had to discover it on my own, that there are 4 different languages used in this region, that there are people from different cultures, they mixed in this region, especially in Kurdistan region. But now, once you get this game with a booklet, you can read, and then you understand the basics, and then maybe dig into the history. And I think it's amazing for students and children as well. So, because usually they think that history is boring, right? So now you can play, you can have fun and learn. And this is the main point of the board games, right?
Exactly. Like, well, what I'm really hoping that, because I played this game with children who are also 10 years old, like most people I play with, they are like over 20, 25, something like that. But I also played a lot with children from 10 to 14, and actually to play with them was most fun for me, because when I describe how to play the game, they get it very quickly. Like adults, they have like already their structured way to think about new things, so they take more time to accept new ideas. So children, they are like a sponge, so they were really quick in understanding how the game works, and they were very, very excited, and they were all surprised that this history is part of their country, or their part of their heritage actually. So in this game, they play to be a king.
Yeah.
So they try to build their empire. They travel between 5 different cities. And then I ask them, and then I tell them like small stories about these different 5 cities, and they're really excited, like, oh, I didn't know about this. And some children say, ah, yeah, I heard about Nainawa, I read it in my history book. But if I ask him, what do you remember? Oh, I remember nothing. So I hope that when they play the game, and when they get excited and also read these information that are provided, that they will remember better, because they have a positive connection to it, because they have a nice experience with the game, so they will remember the information in a different way than if they just read it in a history book.
And all the drawings here, the maps, they're all real, right?
Yeah, like because I have 5 cities in the board game, each city I dedicated 1 page in the booklet where I write very shortly like the archaeological background, like when it was excavated, who did it, etc., and what the importance of the city is. And then you can see the map of it, and they're all origin where I worked a little bit on it, that it is more artistic. But all these maps, so you have an idea how the topography of the city looked like actually, because they look very different.
And also, this is also great because right now a lot of children, they do not know how to use maps.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So now everything is online, or navigation and stuff, but maps are something only rare professionals know how to use.
Yeah.
And also, you are talking about children who play, they feel proud that this is their heritage, and also I think it could inspire them to learn more.
Yes, yes, exactly. Because this is, as I said, because when they play on the phone games, or when they watch movies or series, there are all these entertainment industry focusing all on this other historical period. The children here feel like they have nothing.
Yeah.
They don't feel like that they have a rich heritage or history that they can say, oh, I want to learn more about it. Because everything that they are exposed to is from other cultures. And that's why I want to change this, because actually the Mesopotamian heritage is so rich and it has influenced so many other cultures, like even the Greek, because like when we think about Alexander the Great who came to Babylon, he was very much influenced by it. And the Babylonian culture influenced later on the Greek tradition. So this is like something that I want that children know more about, so that they don't feel like they have less value comparing to other countries or regions, that they have a rich heritage that they should know about.
And this is a great beginning, and I am sure that everyone who's watching this program should appreciate that and pay more attention to your heritage, to your traditions, and be proud of where you come from, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about the rules of the game and explain them real quick. I see that we've got only two figures here.
Yes.
And we also got cards, 2 stacks of cards, small ones,
Yeah,
and then larger ones.
We have 2 different kind of cards that you can play with. We have these rectangular ones, which are population cards.
Yeah.
We have 5 different personalities with different characters. And then we have here these square cards, which are the construction cards, where you need to build up your settlement. And the construction cards are like from 1 to 6. 1 is a village, and then 2 is a town, 3 is a fortification wall, 4 is a trade station, 5 is a big temple, and 6 is the palace, like the peak of the settlement. And why I choose to do this in the game? Because it's the urbanization and the development of settlements. Because if we look into the history, back into the archaeological background, we see it started with settling in a village,
yeah.
and then slowly your community is growing and growing. And then you start to trade, and you need to protect yourself, because when you accumulate wealth, conflict starts to enrage, so you need a fortification wall. And then your network for trading, because when you have a protection, you accumulate more wealth, and then you trade to different regions and also like more distance. Like also when we talk about South Asia,
yeah.
This connection between South Asia and Mesopotamia, we have trading 5,000 years ago. And this continued, like also like 100 years ago when you go to Basra, which is like the port in this region, you had a lot of Indian merchants. So this tradition of trading in long distances goes back to many, many, many thousand years ago.
So basically this game is made pretty much realistic, so if you want to build something, you have to start from the scratch.
Exactly, so you cannot build a palace, which is stage 6, if you didn't build up the base of your settlement.
Yeah.
And the thing is also like you have these population cards, because the population cards are the most interesting part of this game, because you have like characters and you have a symbol. You need to, as I said, to travel between these 5 cities. So when you want to travel, you only use the symbol, and then you need to use it like a ticket, and you discard this card from your hand, and then you take your king and you travel, because this symbol that you see here is reflected on the board, which is for Arbail, for example, here. When you discard this card from your hand, you travel to Arbail. So this is a ticket that you're throwing away. So the thing is like because you have always at the beginning of your round 3 cards in your hand, and you need always to think strategically. Do I want to use this card to travel, because I will lose it from my hand? So you need to think for the next steps, which card do I need, which card I can get rid of? Do I need to travel there? Should I travel there? So it's like a lot of things that you need to think before you make a decision. And then when you travel to one settlement, you need to put people there. You are settling this region. After you settled, then you can start building. Because building needs manpower. If you don't have enough manpower, you cannot continue developing your settlement. So when you have only 1 population card, you can only have a village. If you want to continue to have more, you need to have more population cards according to the number that you want to reach. And if you have 5, you can build a temple.
So how long does it usually take to start the game and then complete it?
The game takes like 45 minutes in general, I have games where in 20 minutes it's ended, because when you mix the cards, etc., and you are really smart, then you can end it very quickly. Sometimes I had a game, my longest game was 2 hours, because we were going back and forward, because these population cards, they have powers. Like you can attack the enemy in destroying their settlement, or stealing a stage, or you are convincing the population to come to your side, or you can deport the population. So these attacks, they make the game fun, because you start at the beginning to settle, to travel, to build. It's very peaceful, it's very fun, but then when you build your structure, you start to attack the other, and then all your efforts gone in one round.
So you really build an empire. So who wins in this game?
Who has the biggest empire, of course. So because when you build the settlements, you calculate the numbers together. Because here you have, for example, a village, which is 1, here you have a fortification wall, which is 3, then here you have a palace, which is 6. You calculate them together. And when you have 16 and your enemy has 10, less than 10, you win. If your enemy has 10, you need to continue till 21, or you manage to put his numbers down, like destroying a construction or a settlement, that he is less than 10, then you win. So it's numbers.
All right, so, and one more question. The age group of people who can play this game?
So the youngest person I played with, or the youngest, were 10. I wrote in my box 9 to 99, but I think depending on your child, how much they are into strategical thinking. But like 10 years is an amazing age to learn this, because as I said, they are very open for new ideas, and I enjoyed playing with kids. And adults, they love it. Like adults always play strategy board games.
Yeah, so once again, we will not reveal all the information about this game. You better get yours, your copy, and then play it at home with your friends, with your family, with your children, which will be very beneficial for everyone, right? Now, you've got another game.
Yes.
So let's talk about the other game, which is also pretty much exciting.
Yeah.
We'll keep this here, and I think we'll pack it up later.
So the strategy board game, when we developed it, me and my friend, we played a lot of different board games, and then saw like the different mechanism that we can use. This game now is inspired from Double or Spotted, which is already an existing game in Western countries. We did a few changes, because this game called now Orbillum Ditum. Orbillum is kind of the brand mark, and this game is called Ditum. Ditum is a Kurdish word which means I saw it.
Okay.
So it's a card game, as I said. Wait, let me open. Many people say it's a cheese box.
Or tuna can, but I love the
tuna
packaging.
can, yeah.
But you know, it's convenient to transport it.
Yes,
easy.
yes.
You will not lose the cards, and they will not get deformed. So it's the best packaging, I guess.
Yes. So you have these dark blue cards where you have like a visual explanation, and then again you have how to play the game in English, and then in Kurdish, then in Arabic, in Assyrian, and then you have like some symbols just to fill it. So the idea of the game is you share these cards equally, and you can play it between 2 to 8 people. So we are 2 people, so this would be like half-half approximately, yes.
Okay.
And you have 1 card in the middle. Each card has, let me show it for the camera, each card has 8 symbols on it. And you have 57 cards completely, like you will get 27, I will get 27, and then we have 1 card left in the middle. And every time when you compare 2 cards with each other, there's only 1 symbol that is similar. The fun part of this game is like all the images are nostalgic to our region, like Kurdish, Iraqi images. Like every Iraqi would directly understand that this is a pillow, that this is a falafel sandwich, this is a soda drink, let's say Sinalco, that this is watermelon, kebab, coffee, earrings, and this beautiful cowbird. I don't know how it's called in English. And the fun thing is, like, as I said, we have a very diverse culture here, Like every region has its own vocabulary for many things. Many things are similar, independent Arabic or Kurdish, and then you have in Kurdish many different words for something. Like here in Badini you say shiti, in Kurdish you say, in Sorani you say shuti. So already the pronunciation of a word is different. And when you play this game, you start to learn other dialects. This is the idea to support this. So you have these cards in your hand, I have mine. You open the card in the middle and you open the uppermost card and you keep it like this till you find the one symbol that is in the middle. And then you need to call it out loud and then put your card down. And the goal is to get rid of all your cards, then you win the game.
So I see this Kurdish traditional shoe.
Yeah.
And what is the name of it?
Clash.
Clash.
So you
I'm
say
saying
clash
and I put it.
Exactly. So I see here the soda drinks. I say sinalco and I scream.
Yeah, and I see nothing.
Coffee. I was faster than you.
I know. Oh, I see hummus. Is it?
Oh, this is rice and beans. Brinj fasulya.
Oh, okay.
Or
I saw
timman
food.
yapse in Arabic. So the fun thing is also like you can use any language that you can that you know. It doesn't need to be only Kurdish, only Arabic, only English.
Okay. I don't see anything. Is it possible not to see?
It is. So I can tell you that I have this, which is the carpet, and you. Let me see if I can see it. It must be there. It's impossible.
Oh, it's flower. It's
yes, it's the red flower.
How do you call it in Kurdish?
Gulasur.
Gulasur.
It's very simple.
It's poppy in English and mak in Russian.
Yeah, and this poppy flower is very, very famous for the mountain area because in spring you see everywhere these red flowers. Bamia, which is okra. Okra in English, yes, exactly.
And now I should get something, and oh, it's a kite.
It's a kite. And let me be. Kori, kettle.
Yeah, or teapot, kettle. Yeah. Now for me, candy. Let's play it real now.
Let's real. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Let's be fast then.
Orange. I'll use some English words and then some maybe Kurdish because I know some of them already.
Chai.
All right. Drum.
Should I use English?
Yeah, you can use both languages because
Nergis.
Yeah.
The flower.
I see
Nergis.
this. Oh, okay. All right. I think I don't see anything again.
It must be there. There is always something.
Soda. Musical instrument, and I don't know the name of it.
Kamancha.
Kamancha. Okay.
Marble.
It's a marble, and I see a.
Hanar.
I was about to say pickup, but you were first.
It's also unfair because I'm more used to the images.
It's okay. Brinj fasulye.
Brinj fasulye, very good. You will learn Kurdish with it. Kite.
All right, and now nothing.
Teen. Now I'm using also Arabic words. Because I grew up with many languages, when I play this game, I use all languages I know. I have no
Flip-flop.
Also, na'al.
Falafel.
Samawar. You have this in Russia?
Yeah, it's exactly the same name.
Oud. The
Oud, I also got it. Now, samun.
Samoon. Did you had some for breakfast?
No.
Samawar.
Not today. All right, and nothing.
Pillow.
All right. Nergis.
Nergis. Falafel.
I see something. This lamp.
Lala.
Lale. Samun.
This one is called in Kurdish dar lastik, which is very fun to say because it's two words. It's wood and rubber band. So this is dar lastik.
Okay, dar lastik. Next time I see. Clow. I know the name of the hat.
Clow, very good.
Clow again. Look at that. Clow. I'm just getting
like all the clouds.
I know. Again, that's the clow. Just because of that, I'm going to win. Honestly, it's again here. Clow.
Oh my God.
Look
We
at
should
that.
have mixed the cards better.
I know we did not mix them, so next time, you guys, whenever you play, you have to mix. And I see the cloud again. I'm just gonna go for it.
Mix your cards. It's unfair.
All right, I'm mixing my 2 cards, and then all
And
right.
I can't see anything. Come on.
I even see something in your card right now.
Orange.
Yes.
Thank you for the help.
And now,
pick up.
all right, so now, I was so excited to win, but apparently now,
Mizrah, which is this thing.
in Russian, Yula.
How is it called in Russian?
Yula.
Yula.
And
Mubarida.
look, oh, where is it? I see that. How do you call this?
Arabana.
Arabana. All right, so now.
Tuk-tuk.
And
Tuk
I've
tuk.
got the last card, and maybe I see Brinj Fasulye.
The Brinj Fasulye made you win. Congratulations.
Thank you, Brinj Fasulye.
I have only a few cards left.
So it feels good winning, by the way, you know. Well, thank you for this amazing round. You know, now everyone who's watching, they will be really proud of me because I just won the creator of the game.
And she used many Kurdish words also. I'm very proud of you in this term.
Thank you, Lana. All right, so now let's talk about where people who are interested in these games can get them here in Erbil.
So you can order it on Lezo. This game will be out very soon. It's not on there. The first game is already on Lezo, and there is a small shop in Ankawa called Hopeful Hands, which is an amazing shop. I can recommend everybody to go there because there are women who are tailoring clothes, pillows, etc. And there are more other handmade articles that you can purchase there, and it's really supporting women to have their income. And then my game is there displayed, and I hope soon that I can have more shops in Erbil to present the game where you can buy it. And I'm also expanding to Baghdad, Mosul, and I hope soon in Duhok and Slemania too.
So once again, you can get the games on Lezo, so they can be delivered to your home, and visit Ankara, Hopeful Hands. And remember, we spoke about influence of the board games on children, right? And then
Yes.
schools. So
Yes.
we spoke about your project and idea to contact some local schools,
Yeah.
especially private schools, and then maybe arrange some board game corners.
Yeah, I think it would be amazing because the games in general, alternative games are not that available here in Iraq. Like you have cheap
Just few
copies
options.
of some games, but there are also like only a handful of options. And these games here have a local identity, and they are like to improve the capability of the child. Like this one, you need to be fast, it's training your vocabularies, etc., because you can use all languages. And it's also like just sweet to support the local tradition. And this is like independent what your background is. And the other game is like, it's spotting you to be more strategic, to think, to make also difficult decisions, because this is why I love strategy games, because to get something, you need to sacrifice something.
Yeah.
And this is something that we all need to learn while we grow up to have this skill. And learning, of course, about the heritage. So that's why I really hope that more and more children get into this and less have playing games on the phone.
On the phones, yeah. So I think each school should have a little corner with board games, especially these games which are created locally and really connected to history. Maybe in a library, yes, library corner, corner in the library which will contain the games would be amazing.
And I also hope actually that if they see that there is a local product, a local entertainment product, that these children get inspired by it, that when they soon grow up, they will have also like a creativity in their mind to say, actually, I also can produce something. I also can create something that has to do with my own identity, but still can be purchased by others as a business or whatever. Because all the inspiration that children are here getting is coming from outside, from TV, etc., from social media. And I really hope that having local products more and more in the market, that it will be inspiring them, that we have another generation who, for them, it's something very normal to have local products. While when I was a child, we didn't have this.
It's going to be very normal to have local product and also create their own.
Exactly, exactly. To inspire them to create and to be creative.
Let's get back to your studies. You started studying archaeology in 2009, as far as I know.
Exactly.
And then the idea with the game came up 10 years later.
One short interruption to this, because I started to study 2009, I finished 2015, and this was the time where the war with Daesh started, and like in media we were all influenced, or we all watched the destruction of many heritage sites. And somehow this was the moment where I realized that we cannot protect the buildings, the stones that they are, but we can protect something in a very cheaper way and have more impact on others, is the knowledge.
Yes.
And
yes, right.
2015 actually was the moment where I was inspired to do this, because as I said, we were playing board games and we wanted something with Mesopotamia. But this moment when I saw the destruction was the most inspiring part, because I felt like, yes, you cannot protect these stones, but you can do something to spread the knowledge and the awareness about the heritage and history in a positive way.
So you saw that the history is disappearing, right, in front of your eyes, and then you can only preserve it in people's memory.
Yeah, the buildings are, because it's also like nature. If it's not Daesh, it's also time that is destructing heritage buildings. But the knowledge that you gained in the past 100 years during excavations and research, etc., is something that we need to protect, but we need also to share. And when I was still working in university, because after 2015 I started to do my PhD in a 3 years program, I felt like I'm putting a lot of efforts in doing research and writing articles, but at the end, all these academic writings, it's only a handful of people or a dozen of people who will read it, because archaeology is a small world, and because there are like standards how to write this, and normal people will not understand it or will be bored by it. So that's why I wanted to use another tool to share and to preserve this knowledge, because in this way we can protect heritage. It's not, for me at the end, it's more important to share the knowledge than protecting stones.
And you're right, so the information should be accessible and simply delivered to people.
Exactly. And this is the idea with the board game, and I hope to have this series with other periods, so every time you purchase one of these games, you can learn another part of Mesopotamian heritage.
All right, so now I've got a question about your further projects, upcoming projects, and anything you have in mind and you would like to share with our audience right now.
Yeah, so besides working on my game, I'm still working in the archaeological field work, and I'm a freelancer too. So currently I am a field assistant at the restoration project in Amedi, where the Mosul Gate, or so-called Badinan Gate, will be restored. Because the roof got very weak, because it already collapsed 40 years ago, and it was restored in the 90s. But the roof got some weaknesses. So every winter there is like this amount of snow, which is a lot of weight for it, and it starts like to collapse. So we will work in July next month on it to dismantle the upper part and look at which stones are weak, which stones needs to be restored, which carvings we can recreate again, and to build up the gate in its former beauty again. So I'm very excited about it, because I think we need more restoration projects in this region, because we have beautiful heritage here, beautiful buildings that all are kind of crumbling down through the time after rain seasons, etc. And we need more restoration projects. So that's why I'm very happy and proud that I'm participating in this project. And you all should visit Amedi, because Amedi is for me, one of my favorite regions, because it has this heritage and also the nature, which is incredible.
All right, so if you guys have no plans for the summer, go and visit Amedi. And maybe you'll meet Lanah there as well, right?
Especially autumn, because in autumn they have beautiful pomegranates, beautiful figs, and also the tahina. Seriously, the tahina in Amedi is the best in the world. Like, also there are other regions, Mosul, Acre, they make tahina, which is good, but Amedi is the best one in the world. Yani, I'm not saying this because I get any percentage or something, it's really the best tahina ever.
That is great. So I definitely should visit Amity, and
Yes.
I'll put it in my plans. All right. So today's program was pretty much inspiring. Everything you were talking about gives a lot of information and ideas for everyone who's watching. But now, maybe you have one more message to share with our audience, and then tell this to them directly.
Especially for the younger audience, I really hope that you will learn how to understand yourself more, to be yourself. So in this way, like, try to understand what is your potential, what do you want to do in life, what makes you having a joyful time, because we have a lot of pressure, people telling us what society needs to be an adult, but actually you need to see what is your potential and go into this direction, because this will make you also being a healthy adult. So don't try to be somebody because someone said you need to be this and this. Try to find out who you are, what do you want to have achievings in your life, and work for this.
Thank you, Lanah. That is a beautiful message. All right, everyone. I think that is the end of our today's program. Thank you for visiting. Thank you for sharing your background and information. Thanks for introducing the games. And for everyone who's watching, I highly recommend to purchase these games and try playing them, especially now during the summer holidays, summer vacation. Thank you, and see you in our next programs.